Dixie here. Today I want to talk to you about the packs that I used while through hiking the Pacific Crest Trail this year. So I started off with the Hyperlite Mountain Gear Southwest 3400, and I carried this pack for about 1,500 miles before I decided to swap out, and I'll get into why I swapped out later and all of that. But I swapped to the Zpacks Arc Haul and hiked with it for the rest of the through hike, so a little over 1,000 miles. So I feel like I have a pretty good handle on the features of both of these packs, and I want to go into pretty much the details on each of the packs and then tell you which one I preferred and why it was a better fit for me. Alright, so the Southwest 3400 is actually the mid-capacity pack of the Southwest series. So there's the 2400, the 3400, and the 4400. And basically what that means is the pack's capacity in cubic inches. So this pack has a capacity of 3,400 cubic inches. Now if you tend to think of this in liters, then this pack is 55 liters, the other one is 40 liters, and the largest one is 70 liters. Pack capacity on this is 55 liters, but that's on the interior, so the exterior actually has 9.8 extra liters in here, in the pouches and in the water bottle holders. The Zpacks Arc Haul is 49 liters on the inside and then has an additional 13 liters in the back pouch and the cup holders. So you're looking at almost 65 liters versus 62 liters. And it's kind of surprising because this pack seems much more like compact, but the top of the bag actually unrolls pretty high. Both of these packs have a weight capacity of 40 pounds, which means you should not have more than 40 pounds in the pack. It doesn't necessarily mean that it is a comfortable carry up to 40 pounds, but that just means that's what the pack is built to handle as far as weight that you should be carrying in your pack. I know a lot of people think that by getting a very lightweight pack that, you know, you're able to cut your base weight or, you know, your pack weight in general. And that is true, but you have to keep in mind that if the rest of your gear isn't somewhat lightweight, that, you know, these packs may not carry as comfortably as, say, like an Osprey, like I used during the Appalachian Trail. But because I already had that experience backpacking the Appalachian Trail with an Osprey pack, and I kind of figured out what I needed and didn't need when it comes to gear, I was able to cut my base weight some and, you know, go with one of these lighter weight packs. So I would keep that in mind if you're beginning. Not saying that these packs won't work for you, just, you know, saying to keep that in mind and keep your base weight in mind when you are choosing one of these lightweight packs. My base weight varied during my hike. If you want to learn more about the things that I carried and what my base weight was, you can go to homemadewanderlust.com, and I do have my gear list for each section of the PCT, and actually for what I carried on the AT also. The HMG pack comes in either black or white, and it's basically the difference in the Dyneema. So Dyneema is the fabric that it's made of. It was formerly known as Cuban fiber, but the black is a little thicker, a little sturdier, so it weighs a little bit more. This pack is a large, so it's 35.5 ounces, whereas the white of this Southwest 3400 would be 32.6 ounces. This Zpacks Arc Haul is 24 ounces, just with the bare minimum, what it comes with. Now, I do have some additional pockets and things like that that I can get into a little bit more later, but the total weight of the pack with some of the other features that I have is 27.5 ounces. So you're looking at a pretty decent weight difference between the two packs. The material that the Zpacks pack is made out of is grid stop fabric, which is your same kind of Cuban fiber deal. Now, this material is not quite as thick as the Dyneema, black Dyneema of the HMG packs, but it still does, you know, a pretty good job. The Zpacks pack comes in a variety of colors. It doesn't really have anything to do with the thickness like the HMG does, but I just prefer black packs. As far as frames go on these packs, the HMG pack has aluminum stays that are along the back of the pack on the inside of the pack, and they are removable if you wanted to cut a little more weight, but they help, you know, give some rigidity to the pack. So with the Zpacks, in this pack there is the Arc Blast and the Arc Haul, and it's called Arc because of the frame of the pack. So you see this bendable metal post here, and there's like actually a metal piece that runs along the back there and along the top here and actually down below to help attach the hip belt. But anyway, the Arc Haul is designed to carry more weight, so more pack weight, where the Arc Blast is meant for, you know, lower base weights, lower pack weights. The grid stop, which is the fabric it's made of, is a little bit thicker on the Arc Haul, which assists in it having a higher load capacity than the Arc Blast, which is just a little bit thinner material. So because of the equipment that I was going to be carrying, I went with the Arc Haul so it can handle a little bit more weight. But this Arc frame is very nice because it creates space between the back of the pack and the mesh here. So your back is resting on the mesh, and the Arc helps keep, you know, some lumpy stuff that you might have in your pack from hitting directly on your back. That is something that I noticed with the HMG pack, is that, you know, I had to be very mindful of the way that I packed my pack and made sure I didn't have anything kind of like poking out on the back of this, because there was no space really between the pack and my back. So the Zpacks does give more aeration, you know, as far as the back of the pack is concerned, and is more comfortable for me anyway on my back. So one of the things that's most important to me anyway when I'm picking a pack is that it fits properly, right? I mean, that's kind of the goal. If you're going to have this turtle shell on your back for a 2,000-mile trek or even a weekend trek, you want it to fit you properly and you want it to be as comfortable as it can be. So as far as sizing goes, I think the Zpacks definitely takes the cake. When you pick out a Zpacks pack, you go based on your torso length, so you actually select, you know, a size as far as the length goes, and then you also select a hip belt size. So it's more fitted to how your body is built. Whereas with the HMG pack, you're going with like small, medium, large, and, you know, it's just kind of like a can size. And then also when considering fit, you need to think about how adjustable is the pack. So the HMG pack, you know, you just got your shoulder straps and your hip belt, where on the Zpacks pack, you've got your shoulder strap, your hip belt, and then you have the mesh here and the arc of the pack, and then also these load lifters that are on your shoulder straps, which this doesn't have that. So it's just not as adjustable, and as far as how the weight, you know, is carrying on your back, you just can't make as many changes with the HMG pack as you can the Zpacks pack. The Hyperlite Mountain Gear Southwest 3400 was definitely less adjustable on the hip belt. As you can see here, it's only got one strap that you adjust to tighten it, whereas the Zpacks pack on the hip belt has two straps, two little ones, a top and a bottom, so you can really adjust where that weight hits your hip at. The nice thing about being able to fit this pack to your individual body, and you have the two options of, you know, your torso length and your hip belt size, is that say two people want to use the same pack, a brother and a sister combo, y'all want to split the price of this, y'all have, you know, the same range of torso length, but your waist is a little bit different in size, well then you can go with a small hip belt, he can go with a large, or you know, whatever size you are. Or say you end up losing a lot of weight and you go down to a smaller hip belt. You know, with this, you are kind of stuck with however your hip belt is. But with the Zpacks, you can, you know, always get a different hip belt, and it's very simple to change. It's just this post connects to a rod in the back of the pack here. So you just slide it out, put on a new hip belt, and you're good to go. The Arc Haul has the ability to control the depth of the pack with this little pull here. And what's nice about this zigzagging cord here is that you can hang socks and stuff like that to dry. The HMG has pretty much the same thing, but it's just one big strap right here at the top, and then this one down here, but this adjusts more on your side pocket really than on the pack directly. And then in considering the hip belt, the Zpacks hip belt, I just found it to be more comfortable. The foam is like softer, and, you know, just the fit of it in general seemed to work better for my body and be more comfortable for me. Like I said, there were some features that I added to my Zpacks pack, and those were these shoulder pockets here and the hip belt pockets. I did like the hip belt pockets much more on the Zpacks pack because they're larger. I like to keep my cell phone in my hip belt pocket. I like to have it secure but easily accessible at the same time. And the HMG pack, it did not fit my cell phone in there and allow me to zip it, and I carry an iPhone 7. I know that there are ways that you can attach it to, you know, a chest strap and things like that, but I just prefer for mine to be in the hip belt. So if you are like that, then you would probably appreciate these much larger hip belt pockets more so than the ones that are on the HMG pack. In addition to the pockets and things like that, other attachments that Zpacks offers with this Arc Haul, they offer a lumbar pad on the hip belt to rest against your back and just give a little more, you know, cushion on that lower part of your back. I really enjoyed having the lumbar pad. They say that, you know, you don't need it. It's not like it's going to irritate your back or anything like that without it. But I didn't take any chances just because of some issues that I did have with the HMG. The HMG does not have much cushion there, so I don't know if it's the aluminum stays that are down in there or just the way the stitching is, but it just seemed more abrasive, I guess you would say, than the Arc Haul, which seemed more soft and cushiony. Like I mentioned with the hip belt, the shoulder straps on the Arc Haul seemed more comfortable to me. It's just like a softer foam, and the shoulder straps on the HMG just seemed a little more rigid. Something else to consider when choosing a pack is how waterproof is it. So I can definitely vouch for the fact that the HMG is waterproof for a through hiker's needs anyway. I don't know if you were to drop it at the bottom of the ocean with an anchor that it would stay waterproof forever, anything like that. But for what you will encounter while hiking or backpacking, this pack performed very well as far as waterproofness goes. So I had to swim a river with this pack on my back in the Sierra Nevada. Now I always do redundancies inside the pack to deal with rain or anything like that. You don't want a wet sleeping bag, so I make sure to keep anything else that I don't want getting wet in, you know, a dry sack or in a trash compactor bag or something like that. So, but with that said, the pack on the inside did not get wet after I swam that river. As far as the Arc Haul goes with how waterproof it is, they actually don't claim that it is waterproof. They say like very water resistant, but I did not carry any rain cover or anything like that. I just, like I said, I have redundancies anyway inside my pack. Although I did not have to swim any rivers with it or anything like that, I did get rained on in Washington with this pack for a few days in a row even, and did not have anything, you know, wet on the inside from the rain. One of the things I noticed immediately when I got my new Zpacks pack was it just doesn't stay upright like the HMG. So the HMG, the bottom of the pack, the way it's designed, it can actually just kind of stay put, which is really nice when you're packing up in the morning if you don't have a tree close by to prop your pack against. You know, with the Zpacks, it continuously falls over, and you know, you're trying to pack up in the morning, you put an item in there, and it falls over, and you come back with another item, and you got to stand it up again. You know, doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's just, you know, one of those things that is noticeable when you're using this piece of equipment every day. One of the features that I liked about the Southwest when I got it is that it has its back pocket here is, you know, an enclosed piece of material as far as it's not mesh, right? So I really like that. It's just a personal preference, which most things are when it comes to backpacking equipment. But I just liked, one, that you couldn't see the items in the pouch, and then two, I felt like the mesh would allow for more snagging and potentially more tears on the back pouch. But my Zpacks pack received no tearing, no holes or anything like that, and my HMG pack did end up with a tear in it. So my theory may have been incorrect. While I still prefer this look, the mesh actually did better for me. And then also just a difference, not necessarily, you know, I don't really have a personal preference, but there was more room to use as far as, like, there's more surface area of this mesh than of this material here on the back pouch. But this back pouch definitely gives more room for, you know, items to push outward than the Zpacks would. As far as the side pockets go on these packs, both of them were fine and, you know, held the capacity of water that I needed to, even through the desert. But worst case, you know, that's not really a deal breaker when it comes to a pack. You know, as long as you have a bladder or something like that, you can always put more water in the back pouches or inside your pack. Speaking of water, both of these packs have hydration ports on the back of them if you do prefer to drink, you know, out of a water bladder with a tube and clip the tube to your shoulder strap. These both have that capability. However, if you are one of the people who likes to keep your hydration bladder in a pouch on the inside, then the HMG does have a mesh pouch to slide your water bladder down into on the inside, where the Zpacks pack does not have that. But I typically, when I use a hydration bladder, I tend to just lay it on the top of my pack anyway, on top of the rest of the gear that I have in there. It's easily accessible that way when I go to collect water, so that's just where I prefer to keep it. The HMG pack on the bottom has an ice axe loop. You can get one for the Zpacks Arc Haul, but it does not come with one. It does, however, come with these little cords down here, so you can attach a tent if you want to. Kurt carried his tent on the back like that, and then when I ended up with the Nemo tent at the end of my hike, I carried it on the back here too. So that is kind of nice, you know, if you're trying to conserve room inside your pack, or if you don't want to put a sopping wet tent inside your pack with all of your other stuff. I actually carried my ice axe in the side of my pack. It was just in one of the drink holder pockets. It was just easier to access for me that way. These packs close on top in a pretty similar way. I do like the way that the HMG pack closes a little bit better. So they both have Velcro across the top here. So you want to Velcro the top of it together and then roll it down. And what I like about the HMG is that both of these clips go down here and clip into a strap on the side. And to me, you know, just being able to tighten that down kind of gives this pack a little more compactness. You know, it just kind of helps keep everything tight. And I like that the HMG pack comes with this V-strap here on top. This is what you use to help secure a bear can if you carry the bear can on the top of your pack. Some people do put it down on the inside. And anyway, it clips like this, you know, and then you would just have your bear can up here and tighten it down. And the V in the back just helps keep, you know, the bear canister stable. And for the Zpacks pack, again, you've got the Velcro going across the top. You roll it down, but this one doesn't clasp on the sides. It actually clasps up top, and then you've got the strap that comes across the top to connect right here. Now, the Zpacks pack does not come with the Y strap for a bear can. It's something that you have to purchase separately. If you're wondering how these two compare in price, this one is going to be $340 in that range, and the Arc Haul is $299. Now that is with the bare minimum. It's not including any additional pockets or the lumbar pad or anything like that. So they're actually going to be pretty comparable if you add anything to the Zpacks pack. Now, if I was to do it again, which pack would I go with? Ding, 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 the Zpacks Arc Haul. It was a much more comfortable carry. And just to give you a little background of what happened with HMG. So I was carrying this pack after about 700 miles or so. It started rubbing me on my back a little bit. I didn't know if it was a heat rash or just the way it was carrying. What I thought was giving me the irritation was the fact that I was carrying a bear can, because it started happening around that time, 700 miles in, around the Sierra Nevada, and I thought having the bear can on top was kind of making my pack top heavy, and I thought that it was kind of pulling back and pushing this lower part against my back. So I thought, well, once I get rid of my bear can, maybe this issue will go away. About that time, I noticed a tear here on the back pouch of my pack. So I wanted to kind of head off any issues that I might have and keep this back pouch from just like tearing open. And I know that Osprey, if you have a back pouch tear open, they'll send you a new pack and you send them the old one. They just completely replace it. So I didn't know if HMG had the same kind of warranty. So I contacted them by email and asked them, you know, what do I do about this tear in my back pouch? Do you repair them, or do you trade them out? You know, just kind of asked, and they said, well, if we were gonna repair it, we don't have any kind of kit that we could send you, so you would have to look into getting it done after your thru hike since you're out there right now. And I thought maybe that they could send some kind of loaner pack or something like that, but they did not initially offer anything like that. What they did suggest is that I could use some kind of gear tape or duct tape to patch it up. So I did, and you know, decided I would just deal with it after my hike. Right after that happened is when I ditched my bear can, and I was still getting that rubbing on my lower back. So not long after that, the top clasp here for the Y strap, luckily I had already gotten rid of that bear can, but it actually broke. So if I put too much pressure or too much weight on this clip, you know, without having that extra little arm on the clip, you know, it might cause issues. So I just decided, you know, I was still very uncomfortable in this pack, even after getting rid of my bear can, and even after trying to cushion it with wearing my rain pants between the pack and my bag. And so I just decided it was time to go with something else. So that's when I swapped to the Arc Haul, which carried much, much, much more comfortably. And I actually had a little tear happen after several hundred miles of using this. I was in Washington, and the tear occurred on the elastic for my hip belt pocket. I contacted Zpacks, let them know, and immediately they sent me a replacement out because they said, you know, it shouldn't have torn up that quickly, and they sent me a new pocket. So just, you know, customer service is pretty important, you know, when you're out on a trail. Chances are you may never have any issues with any of your gear, but not extremely likely. So it is important to know that a company that you are going to purchase a product from will back it and, you know, will work with you on customer service. I have dealt with customer service at Zpacks for my sleeping bag and my pack, and they were, you know, very responsive, prompt, and helpful. And not to say that HMG left me hanging or anything like that, because I mean, they did respond and they did, you know, offer me a solution with this back pocket. But I will say that Osprey and their packs, like I said, I carried one on the AT, and I've seen people deal with them, you know, on the PCT, and they are very, very helpful and really back their packs. So I did do a video on that Osprey Aura. If you want to learn more about that, it is here on the channel. It's called Picking a Pack, and you can learn more about that by watching that video. And as I said, the Zpacks Arc Haul was just much more comfortable. The way it fit my body, the hip belt, everything. I didn't have any issues with back rub or anything like that. Like I said, it did use the lumbar pad, and I haven't tried it without it. But I just wanted to be extra cautious since I had had those issues. And within a week, the rub on my back had cleared up almost completely. So chances are I will likely be taking the Zpacks Arc Haul with me for the CDT when I start in the spring. But if y'all have any questions about either of the packs that I talked about today, please let me know. I do think that both of them are quality packs, even though the HMG Southwest did not work for me. I saw a lot of people carry it, not having any issues with it at all. So again, packs and all backpacking gear is really specific to the individual. But if y'all have any questions about my personal experience with either of these packs, please let me know in the comments below, and I will get to those and let y'all know if I have an answer. If not, I'll make one up. Just kidding. But anyway, we will see y'all next time.